Yo guys, it's me Matrix here, coach of the Welsh Warlords, bringing you Season 3 of the UGA Johto Division, week number 5. First week after the mid-season trades. Joining me this week, we have Masenko returning.
Hello there.
And Bryan.
What's up, guys?
So, both of you two played this week. How are you finding the new teams that you've got? Obviously, you've both made trades. One of you more than the other.
Yes. For me, I definitely think my team has been short up a little bit. Hopefully, it stays that way. Can't really say much after only 1 week, but I think my team composition definitely has improved since the first 4 weeks.
Yeah, look, my team, they're feeling a lot of pressure right now. They looked at the previous squad and they saw what I did to them, and they're thinking to themselves, I better perform. Luckily, most of my squad members walked away with some kills this week, but unfortunately did not get the win. So we'll have a talk with them in the back later and see if they can't get next week.
Hopefully they don't go sacking the coach.
Yeah, maybe the coach might be a bit of an issue.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I'm feeling pretty good about this coming week. So
Good. Okay, so without further ado, we'll have a look. Week 5 results. We see that the kill leader is still Moltres at 22 kills. The Slowbros are really putting the work in with Moltres. Which
22 kills, 3 deaths. 3 deaths.
Is that how many deaths it's got? Just 3 deaths. Come on, guys. It's a Moltres. It dies to a rock. But no,
Stealth Rocks, Dragon Tail.
Start bringing Stealth Rocks versus it. But no, the Slowbros have been putting in. Like, honestly though, Stealth Rocks isn't even bad. Like, Slowbros have been maxing Moltres in the back a lot. So if you set rocks up against him, then he comes in, it's like 50% already done. He's going to be struggling to max that. But no, the Slowbros are really doing well. He's piloted his team really well, and Moltres is benefiting from that so much more than I ever did on my team last season. In second place, we have Zapdos with the Merseyside Marowaks, another undefeated team, or at least undefeated coach. 18 kills to Zapdos' name. I believe that hasn't changed from last week, so whatever he did this week, must have been using the Zapdos. And then in place number 3, we have the Pogging Porygons Cinderace G-Max. These 3 mons have been in the top 3 last week and I think the week before as well, so we're not having a huge movement at the top at the moment, and we might not see Moltres be dethroned for quite some time with it being so high up with 22 kills. Would like to see some shifts though, so who knows?
I mean, every time that I get a mon that gets a high enough kill count to get at least a top 10, someone else edges it out, so it's always like at 11 or 12, so I'm getting there. Okay.
So the Slowbros, talking about the Slowbros and their Moltres, they take a 2-0 win versus the MK this week.
Yes.
Did you watch the match, Bryan? It was recorded, wasn't it? Oh, I remember. So they had an issue with this recording. The Slowbros controller and the Joy-Cons stopped.
That was the controller one.
Yeah, stopped putting inputs into the system. So he was clicking the buttons. The system was like, nah, not gonna respond. So he ended up having to undock it and play it in undocked. So he never actually got to record the latter half of this first game, and he didn't get to record the second game at all.
Right. I saw the first one, but for the life of me, I cannot remember anything about it.
Well,
and that was only a couple days ago, so my memory must be going down the drain.
Oh, I know. There's a lot of content though, isn't there, to remember about. But this was it was really cool because he had this Tapu Bulu with the Oranguru lead. And what this did is Tapu Bulu was running Grassy Seed, so it would use its item as soon as it was sent in, and then the Symbiosis ability of Oranguru allowed it to pass its held item to the Tapu Bulu. This was the Assault Vest item, which is a very risky bring on an Oranguru, unless you know you're bringing Oranguru next to Tapu Bulu, because of obviously Assault Vest not able to use status moves or anything, and Oranguru is running quite a bit of support. So it would pass the Assault Vest onto the Tapu Bulu, basically turn 1. Tapu Bulu is now +1 defense, +1 is special defense, and is quite bulky. I actually think the MK Mimikyus maxed their Regieleki, and from the moves it was using, I don't 100% know. I don't know if you guys are able to quickly check Regieleki's move pool, but it was using Max Darkness, Max Airstream, so I think he brought a physical Regieleki.
I'll be happy to look that up.
Because I don't think it gets access to any special flying or dark moves. I think it gets like endurance.
Endurance and bounce as physical, dark, and flying moves.
Yeah.
And then its special move pool is Ancient Power, Swift, and 4 electric type attacks.
So yeah, from the looks of it, the Mimikyu's brought a physical Regieleki, which is actually kind of cool. Always wanted to see a physical one run. We often always only see like support or special.
It's fine. The Regieleki's attack and special attack are both 100, so viable. Like, it's not like a meme set. You could use one in a more advantageous one.
He led the Regieleki next to the Articuno, so it's very possible like he went for that Max Darkness to lower the special defense of the opposing side before the Articuno could attack, so the Articuno could do more damage. So I see that Regieleki is playing more of a supportive role with its max moves to like hit hard, well not hard because it's not super offensive with its coverage, but hit for decent damage whilst providing support to his mons on the side. So yeah. The I'm just looking here now. The Moltres didn't actually get any KOs this week, so maybe I just forgot to update the Moltres' KOs from the week before. Who knows? But he brought the Inteleon in the back. Did Otto in game 1, and I believe Ragapult in the back in game 1 as well. So. And the Tapu Koko was brought in game 2 in place of the Oranguru. It just seems like Tapu Bulu had a really good day here with the 5 kills that it got. The MK Mimikyus, I don't remember exactly what happened in game 2 because it was just flashed upon the screen. On Otto's video, so I'm not gonna lie, I watched it at 2 times speed, so it was very quick. It just went boop, 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 boop. But
yeah, he basically just explained what he did, but it seemed like a generic playthrough.
I think there was a few switch-ins here and there from the Mimikyu side. Might have got a little bit close in game 2, like a little bit on the close side, but the Slowbros seem to have pretty good control over it. They did finish with a +4 differential overall, so GG's to the Slowbros there. That takes them to their 5th win, which I think is more or less guaranteed of spot in playoffs, being our first 5-win team. It is possible to just miss out on playoffs in 5 and 3, but with his record at the moment and like a good KD and everything, I think he will end up taking the very first slot. So, well, not top spot, but he takes the first ticket into playoffs. A win, any other wins from here guarantees him a spot in playoffs.
Yeah.
So, GG's Otto, keep it up, and MK Mimikyus, I'm sure you're going to bounce back next week. Or this week, as we are recording this.
Big congrats to the Pacific Slowbros for securing that slot. Obviously, he's been killing it, so well deserved.
Really good team, though. I really like his team.
Yes, sir.
So, match number 2. Ooh, the Far Rockaway Tyrantars versus the Somerville Scraggies. A 2-1 win. This was a close set of games. I don't believe this was recorded, or at least if it was, it's not been uploaded yet.
Right.
I think we're still waiting on the recording to be uploaded by Lucian. He did have it. I think he said he had it recorded, but he wasn't sure if Tyler would upload it or not. But instantly we see this Blacephalon brought to 3 games, got 4 kills. Like, Blacephalon's doing good work for the Tyrantars. What I really like is his usage of Indeedee most weeks, but I would imagine the Blacephalon maybe had expanded force and stuff, and he's going up against a team which is rather on the bulky side from the Somerville Scraggies. It does seem though the Scraggies didn't even bring his Celesteela. He brought Electivire, Raichu, Sandaconda, Latios, Skuntank, and Morgrem. It might seem that the Electivire was the main mode here this week, possibly going for like some max quakes and stuff. But if I'm not mistaken, there was a pivotal point in Game 3. Now, Game 1, I don't remember who won, one of them did. Game 2, obviously the other one won. But speaking to both Lucian and the Scraggies, Game 3, the Scraggies were definitively in the lead. They were in the lead by quite a margin. And then all of a sudden, the whole thing just flipped on its head. And what flipped on its head was this Frostlass living on 1 HP. Frost, I don't know what attack was used, but it was made quite well known for us all that the Frostlass living on 1 HP allowed it to perform its move for the turn or the next turn, and I will basically flip the game on its head and allowed for the Tyrantars to just come from behind and take the game.
Lucian proving once again he has the plot armor thick around his body. Yeah. Just through.
No, but I think it's a really good game. I was looking forward to seeing this game, so I still am looking forward to seeing this game whenever they decide to release it.
I wonder if it was like a Frost Breath into a Tauros or something like that.
It could have been. I mean, Frostless came 3 games, Tauros came 2, and Raikou came 1. The rest was Blacephalon and Indeedee.
There's only 1 death on the Tauros, so it's very likely that if it came to the 3rd match, it didn't die.
Could have been. Who knows? We'll have to wait for that video to find out exactly what happened here. But no. Close match, or as all of the Tyrantars games tend to be, quite close matches. I mean, last week they had a really good game against the
Eiscues.
Yep. Just losing out on that game. So yeah, another close one this week gives them their next win of the season. Unfortunate for you, Tyler. But I'm sure your bulky team will allow you to win in the future weeks. We move on to your game, Brian. Charlotte Beagles, 2-1 win over the, I keep going to say Theory Xerneas. I hate it. It's against the Milwaukee Xerneas.
This one, I realized during the trade week, he dropped his only Trick Room setter in Xatu. So I thought it was pretty free to go into my Trick Room mode paired with the Steely Spirit. And then some other mons in the back for backup. Didn't run any speed on any of them. They were all like 0 speed, negative speed natures for Trick Room. So it was basically Trick Room or die. And so first matchup, he maxes his Hawlucha, which got a Psychic Seed boost, and it works as that supportive max because he used Max Darkness into the Follow Me Clefable, which lowered the special defense of my Lone Executor, and then Tapu Fini Lele, used the choice specs boosted Dazzling Gleam and brought it down to Sash. If Executor was not Sash, it would have died, so that was his out of getting rid of Trick Room, but it was Focus Sash, so it lived. Trick Room was set. Double KO'd the Executor and Clefable, but that was okay because I had Berserker and Aegislash in the back, and then they both wrecked from there. Game 2, I just did the same thing, but he brought Togepi and Spectre. So,
yeah,
I think
Togepi.
I get whatever they're leading. I forgot what they led in Game 2. Probably the Spectre. I think it was Spectre and Tapu, but I get like the Tapu down to like red or something like that.
Yeah,
he switches into Togepi, and I target into the Max Spectre, but that's because I have Trick Room up, so I go before it. But he max guards the Spectre. I send in Max Phantasm into it, so he guards it. In comes the Togepi. Togepi does follow me. No, not follow me. After you, excuse me. And Spectre sweeps from there, just allowing with still enough turns of Trick Room to where Togepi will be able to go first, and allowing the Spectre to basically bypass the speed requirements of Trick Room to KO all of my Mons. So I take a 4-0 loss there. Then game 3 was the one where I was kind of going. Was a little different. I actually don't go with my Trick Room mode in this one. I lead Clefable and Aegislash. Yeah.
Yes.
And it's again Tapu. I think it's again Tapu and Spectre. And I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing here at this moment. I'm like, do I max here? Do I save my max? So I eventually just max, go for a Phantasm into Spectre. Spectre switches out, in comes Entei, and I knock Entei down to red. And eventually I think I just follow me a couple of times, bringing taking down the Clefable. And this one I bring in a new Pokemon I hadn't used yet, Crawdaunt. It's Crawdaunt's first ever appearance on the
debut.
Sorry, what?
The Crawdaunt's debut.
Yeah, it was Crawdaunt's debut. It's facing
Max Spectre. It wasn't Max yet.
It was Max Spectre versus Aegislash. So I just max Phantasm into the Spectre, but Crawdaunt knockoffs into Spectre, and Crawdaunt is adaptability. It's also running the Expert Belt, giving it a 1.2 times boost to super effective moves.
Mm-hmm.
The Spectre max Phantasms into the Aegislash faints, but the Crawdaunt's knocks off the Life Orb, and it's just Oko, just straight out Oko from there.
Yeah. And then the following turns, we end up seeing the Togepi that switched in for the Entei that turn as well, and the Entei the Entei is then brought in from the back. You end up bringing out your Berserker. Great. And I think from there it was literally a case of the Sacred Fire missing from Entei allowed Berserker to hit the Togepi, and then have your Crawdaunt attack the Entei. I think the Entei missed a Stone Edge the following turn as well. Or hit a Stone Edge but didn't do enough damage. So,
yeah, it did. Yeah, the Stone Edge only did like 45% or something like that.
Yeah.
To the Crawdaunt.
What I found most interesting, which I mentioned over on the Champs of the Week posted by Ancient Jedi, was that final few turns of play. Like, in that position, I can see the Xerneas thinking, well, okay, I just need to get rid of this. I'm going to probably lose. I think he was aware that Crawdaunt was probably going to take out the Spectre this turn, but he wanted to guarantee the KO on the Aegislash. But I think it was a risky play on his end to not have max guarded as he switched in the Togepi. Just because it was risky for you to even have gone for an attack with the Aegislash. Like, a max guard would have been a lot safer that turn. Just so that you could have potentially have hit the the Spectria, and if it got redirected to the Togepi, well, great, you've knocked off its Eviolite that turn. So it's a lot safer all round. But given what he did, I think he could have actually just KO'd the Aegislash with a standard Shadow Ball. Like, he didn't need to max his Spectria. So in fact, really, he could have. He couldn't protect and switch in the Togepi. He didn't have protect anyway. He had Nasty Plot. So if he had gone for the non-max, he would have lost his Spectria that turn. Fine, okay. But then he still has a max, and you might be saying, well, okay, Entei's only got like 20% health or 15% health. Like, what's the point of maxing that? Well, the point in that is it's a 100% accurate move. And I know it's all in hindsight, because it's not something you would think of. It's like, oh, Sacred Fire, hopefully I can hit this, it's 95% accurate. But if he had done it in that turn of events and he had maxed the Entei, used to follow me with a Togepi, well, that Berserker dies there all the time.
Yeah.
Because it only just has a role for Sacred Fire to KO. But Max Flare off the Sacred Fire is like 140, 130 base power move. Which is even stronger, so it's a guaranteed KO. So then he KOs you for definite, and then you just follow me and just keep attacking the Crawdon. And I think the Crawdon can't take out both Togepi and a full health Togepi and the Entei. However, the other argument is that, well, if Sacred Fire hits, you've got a 50-odd% chance to KO the Berserker. If it doesn't KO, well, it's got a 50% chance to burn, which means that your Togepi isn't going down that turn, so it's pretty safe, you know? So, in theory, the Mimikyus didn't even need a max. Not Mimikyus, the Xerneas didn't even need their max in that Game 3. In the end, like, there wasn't really a good place for a Mon to max. Maybe they should have maxed earlier on, who knows? But there was a way out of the end game that guaranteed them a win. It required a lot of foresight and a lot of hard predictions to be able to have done that. And then you might have changed your plays a little bit as well, who knows? So it's not always a fully guaranteed method. But it was close, it was very close, and it definitely came down to that Sacred Fire missing. If that Sacred Fire had hit, I think 8 times out of 10 the Xerneas team would take that.
Yeah, that's the consensus we pretty much came to. That Game 3 really could have gone to either one of us, but the RNG gods blessed me that game.
They did. But sometimes we all needed a little bit of luck. Shame that the Xerneas were on the receiving end of the bad luck. But that was a really exciting match to watch, to be fair. Especially as you took out that Spectria. Yeah.
I got loud.
Really excited. No, good games to you both. You both move on to a 2 and 3, I believe, as of week 5. So getting close. So with that, we move on to the Pogging Porygons versus the South Croydon Saws, and we see one of our kings dethroned. A team that has been leading the way since the start of the season. The South Croydon Saws take their first loss, and it was a 2-0 loss at that. It's very difficult to beat the South Croydon Saws without them taking a game. But the Pogging Porygons managed to do it, and quite well, to be honest.
Yeah.
There is a recording, isn't there?
The weakness in the Soars game plan this week was that they missed the high horsepower or the max quake on the Tyrantrum, because a lot of the mons that the Porygons brought were weak to ground, and he didn't have any ground coverage on the 6 mons. It's kind of the same thing that I had against him, where I didn't have any coverage for a Magmortar. So it's kind of one of those things where they were like put in a really big disadvantage at the beginning from probably just the
team preview,
and he just couldn't figure it out in time.
Yeah, and I understand that the Tyrantrum the Tyrantrum had 2 mistakes. One, he was supposed to he had high horsepower on it until like an hour or so before the match, where he changed it, removed the high horsepower, put something else on it. And if he had that, then he could have been in a stronger position to have won. Which is one of those things that it's difficult when you come into a match and it's like, oh, do I change this? Do I not? I haven't got. This is there for a reason, and then you doubt yourself. You change it, and then you start to regret it in the match. It's one of the worst feelings where you're like, if only I had that move. Why did I change it? But then, boot on the other foot. If you don't change it and you come across, you're like, oh God's sakes! I knew I should have changed it. So it's a hard line. It's a hard line to follow. Then I believe you also mis-EV'd the Tyrantrum, didn't have any EVs on it or something, so that kind of hurts as well. Big blunder that week. But no, really strong win for the Porygons, keeping themselves in that top 4 position.
Yeah, I think the Porygons led their prankster spore mode with the Fungus and Meowstick, and as kind of sacrificial leads of sorts, or just to try to get far enough ahead for the Cinderace in the back to sweep.
Yeah,
and that was kind of the Porygons game plan in there.
I presume, Masenko, you've not been able to watch this matchup yourself either.
Oh no, I've seen this one.
Where did he post it? Because I don't remember seeing it being posted.
It went
up a little before the Champ of the Week.
Oh, I see it. It's not actually posted the rest of it though, so I missed it. You see, I didn't realize it had been posted. So I'm glad you're here to have given your thoughts on this one. I never got to watch it. Sorry, Grizzle.
Yeah, no, it's the Pog and Porygons one. You mean, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought it was a good match. Obviously, the Tyrantrum was just doing a lot less damage than it wanted to, which sucks. But that's just how it goes at times. And it's just not the right set, not the right EVs or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Happens to the best of us.
Yeah, unfortunate.
Hopefully he'll just ransack their next 3 weeks, and that'll just be a blip on his radar.
Yeah, I just flicked through the video. It was really cool, to be fair. Like, he had that Togetic to help him redirect and set up the Dragon Dance with the Tyrantrum and maxing the Tyrantrum. And it's just a shame that, as you say, he just didn't have that coverage he needed.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, well, better luck, Grizzle, for your upcoming matches, and the Pog and Porygons going strong as we start the second half of the season. Next up, we've got the Dark Lords Greninjas versus yourself, Masenko. Whilst we got you talking, to let you take over.
It was a fun game. I think at the end of the day, it was a sort of a Venusaur type game where he just leads the Torkoal Venusaur, and I had some plans for how to do it to deal with that matchup, but unfortunately it just felt like he was doing things that I wasn't really expecting him to do in terms of certain plays, and ended up being in his favor quite substantially. So, and I was making a lot of bad plays in general as well. I should have been making more just standard plays rather than trying to go for reads and whatnot.
Having watched it back, game 1 is when you let the Sceptile Pincurchin lead. I think part of me was like, maybe you should have worry seeded a little bit sooner into the Venusaur. I know you never actually did it, but maybe you should have done that ready for the Stout One and that in the back. Or because of the rock tombs weren't doing a great deal to the Torkoal, and I thought that maybe like Torkoal could have been taken out by a max move from one of the other mons to the back. It's hard. Like the mons that you led with matched up okay against the Venusaur Torkoal, but I think that the Venusaur Torkoal just had too much offensive presence, for that mode than what maybe was initially anticipated. Fair enough, game 1 was a bit of a write-off. Not a huge write-off, he still took 2 kills and it was a 2-0 win for the Dark Lords. But game 2 I thought was a better game plan, personally.
Yeah, I think, at least for me, feels like Dark Lord is definitely feels like a more defensive player in my opinion. So I think part of me was like, oh, I see Venusaur Torkoal. Usually I'd be like a little bit more scared of that, but you know, I think part of me felt like, oh, Dark Lord wasn't gonna, you know, go as hard with it. Maybe he'll consider, you know, he's Sceptile plus you know, plus whatever else I like, and maybe he thinks maybe I should be more aware of disruption or, you know, stuff like that, and I think he just kind of like, nah, I'll just go for the kills. Well,
but no, game 2 was good for you, really. I mean, you had the special Archeops paired with the Fate Tears Grimmsnarl and the Scary Face Grimmsnarl. I really like the Grimmsnarl's ability to halve the speed of the Venusaur, so it wasn't getting that boost from the sun. And so the Archeops was moving faster. The Dark Lords obviously protected that first turn, possibly scouting for a fake out from the Grimmsnarl, but it just turned out that you were basically on the Archeops ended up hitting into it and not getting the KO where it would have been nice to have with the Rockfall. But you did manage to change the weather, which is nice. Maybe turn 2 we should have airstreamed into one of the mons, maybe into the Venusaur or into the Torkoal. Because if you'd airstreamed into the Torkoal on the switching, then you would have picked the KO on the Gallade, maybe. Just have
situations where like I expect him to go for the Archeops in turns 1 and 2 potentially.
Yeah.
I have Archeops, it's a very threatening mon, but instead he goes for the Maxuz into the Grimmsnarl, and then he goes for a what's it called, into Grimmsnarl to finish it off, right?
Oh no, it went Max Quake. It went Max Quake Max.
He goes into Pincurchin turn 2.
Yeah.
Or no, I switch into Pincurchin. I think maybe he goes for the.
That's right. He went for the Maxuz in turn 2.
Yeah, something like that. But either way, like, he doesn't attack Archeops until later. I'm just trying to think like why he doesn't do that. Especially when my Grimmsnarl has the threat to put up like screens and stuff. Like, it just feels like, you know, he should. I don't know. It felt weird, his reaction to what my lead was, which was just to go for some attacks into my Grimmsnarl. Well, I could have potentially killed him. So like the reason I was not doing Fake Tears plus Max Airstream is because I was expecting the Venusaur to max guard at any minute. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know. It just felt weird, and I felt like I was just making bad calls overall.
I think it was unfortunate. I think you had the Raichu on the field as well later in the game. It was that game, wasn't it? It wasn't the game before.
Yeah, I got to do my fun little Raichu combo, right?
Yeah, because game 1, you protected the Raichu and was hoping he would activate your weakness policy with a Rex Quake, so you could go for the Sword Power, and he didn't. He went for the safe Vine Lash, possibly covering for a Focus Sash to pick up that KO. Which I thought was quite smart on his side. It was just very unfortunate on your side.
Yeah. Whatever.
No, yeah. And then game 2, it was nice. After you'd got rid of half the mons, I think the only real misplay that not cost you the game, but like maybe the final straw to that game was just you'd had the Archeops out in the field, he just brought a Torkoal back in, and you know he's got to protect them Torkoal, and as you say, he's a little bit of a defensive player at the best of times. Just going for that Meteor Beam into the Torkoal to try and quickly pick up that KO, and wasting it on the Protect for the Venusaur just to KO your Archeops. I think if you'd managed to have got like damage on the Venusaur, or I don't know, if you'd gone for a Protect, if you just protected that turn with the Archeops, scout off for his Protect, and done something with the Pincurchin that turn, I think it would have been a completely different game, because the following turn you'd be able to KO the Torkoal, because he couldn't switch in the Gyarados into that slot because it's also weak to rock. And then you're looking at an end game where you've got a Pincurchin and a Raichu versus Venusaur and Gyarados. We saw how you KO'd the Venusaur with the Raichu, stored power, Sucker Punch, weakness policy, really good tech that. And then I think between Raichu and Pincurchin, you possibly would have taken out the Gyarados, especially with the Grimmsnarl on the back providing fake out support. So, all came down to just that one turn where you just didn't protect the Arceus, I think, in that second game. Easily happened though. It's easy enough to just sit back afterwards and go, well, yeah, that's where it went wrong, or that's the mistake. It's much harder at the moment, and for the most part, I thought you played a decent game.
Well, still a work in progress, so we'll see. Maybe I can pick up some wins on the latter end of the season, and maybe I can still make it to playoffs. We'll see. It's not like, but I mean, looking at the teams I'm up against, they've been losing as well, so maybe I can ride their lack of momentum or something.
Maybe. But no, better luck in the next upcoming weeks for you. Well done to the Dark Lords, who secured their second win of the season. They're not out of it just yet. 3 more wins for them can put them into a top 8 position. Shivering Snowrunts versus the Trenton Typhlosions. Zam, one of our replacement coaches, undefeated as a replacement coach. The team he took over is not. He takes a 2-1 win against the Trenton Typhlosions at bottom of the table. There is a video of this, but Zam hasn't posted the video.
I watched the Twitch stream of it, I believe.
Oh,
I think he streamed it. Yeah, I remember him streaming it, I think. And
I think he might have just streamed it into the Discord.
Yeah, that might have been the thing. But I remember his lead was his first lead, I think, was the Fame Ultras. That's very meta and common, and it was kind of nerfed by the Eerie Impulse from the Luxray on the other side.
Yes, this is the match where the Luxray was Fate Tears and Eerie Impulse.
Yep.
I remember.
That's the one that he lost. He lost the first one. I'm pretty sure the Moltres just wasn't doing the damage Zam wanted it to do, and then something that the Typhlosions had in the back wreaked a bit of havoc.
I think.
But I remember in game 2 and 3, it was the
game 2 was a 4-0 sweep to Mamoswine, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a Mamoswine show. Basically, games 2 and 3 were basically the Mamoswine show.
Yeah. Mamoswine is a really good mod in my opinion, especially if it gets a decent matchup. I mean, Garchomp, any matchup with Garchomp on the opposing side is a good matchup for Mamoswine. He did have to worry about the Rotom Heat, obviously, but with those overheats, which we later see in Game 3, how much damage that Rotom Heat can really do. The Mamoswine just got into a really good position in Game 2. I can't remember if there was like any specific RNG rolls or which may have influenced the game. Just looking at the report at the moment, I mean, Tornadus obviously came Game 2, Luxray probably came, Duraludon came in Game 2. I think, was that the game where he got a close combat or something off into the switching of the Duraludon, or was that Game 3?
The Duraludon, that might have been Game 2.
I'm not 100% sure which game it was. I just remember it being a really nice play. I mean, the Snowrunts I don't think were over-predicting for the switching, but just getting that close combat off into the Duraludon as he switches, it was Game 3, I think, because that was his... So
yeah, it might be Game 3. I think he dropped... dropped it game 2, and then it was like his last spring game 3.
Yeah, because game 3 he had Rotom Heat, Tornadus, Tangrowth, and Duraludon, I believe. And he swapped in the Duraludon, and the Duraludon got hit by that close combat and just dropped from the Surf Edge. And that allowed the Snoruns to have a good positioning due to the Treads Typhlosions losing their only real max target that game, leaving them to have to max Tornadus in game 3. So.
Oh yeah, the other team has a Duraludon. Never mind. Sorry. Yeah.
And
mixing up my teams.
The Rotom Heat, we saw just how much damage it did. Like an overheat to a maxed Mamoswine took it to its sash. So really good that the Mamoswine had that focus sash and it hadn't been broken up to that point. So yeah, really good game. Any more thoughts on that?
No, that was a while ago, so I lost the majority of that, but I just remember that Eerie Impulse play from the first one, and then Mamoswine taking basically games 2 and 3.
Yeah, I remember saying to Zam before the match, oh yeah, when we were doing practice and stuff, a few mocks, so like, oh yeah, Luxray can run Fate Tears, and be careful of Eerie Impulses from maybe Rotom or something. And he was like, oh no, I don't think there'll be any of that tech. And I'm like, but after seeing the match, I'm like, well, you know, told you. But no, apparently it's a really close set of games, and really well done for the Typhlosions. To be honest, I know the Typhlosions have yet to win a game, like a full 3 games. Best of 3 even, but he's doing really well. Like, considering we've had winless teams in the past, he's doing so much better than any of those teams, and it's heartbreaking. I feel like he's so close to just getting that win, and in these final 3 weeks, he could get a win and really cause issues for some of the higher placed teams. At this point, the Typhlosions aren't able to make playoffs. They are the first confirmed team not to make it, but definitely got to playoff in. Can disrupt any of the.
There's no reason that he can't take one of these next 3 and possibly take a team out of playoff contention. So, which hope's not lost. Which
is the most exciting part, in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly.
So. Best of luck to you, Typhlosions, in the upcoming weeks, and Zam, keep at it. See if you can get yourself a place in the playoffs yourself. Next, we move on to the Battle of the Marowaks. We have the Lowland Marowak representatives, Merseyside versus Midlands.
I guess the Midland become the Cubones next week, so we'll just make a new logo. They'll be the Midland Cubones next week.
Oh dear. Both hailing from the UK or England. That's the worst part of Britain, for any of you who don't know.
Isn't Dunican American?
No, Dunican lives in the UK.
Oh, I could have sworn he was American.
Whatever his nationality is, I wouldn't be able to tell you. I mean, Merseyside, AJ just lives across the way from me, about an hour's trip. Wherefore the Marowaks are like another 2-3 hours into the Midlands. So
okay.
But yeah, the Marowaks take 2-0 versus the Marowaks. There is no video for this,
right?
Unfortunately. However, we do have the battle report to pull from. Love the Marowaks. I keep saying Marowaks. Love AJ's little screenshot of his kill counts. We see Zapdos getting a nice 4 kills here. Doing really well again. I remember this match now. What I might have made a mistake of, by the way. And I'm just going to double check. You can have a look at
he got 8. Oh, Midland got 8 of.
So what I made the mistake of, and I'll correct it here, is that it was actually the Moltres was there. The Zapdos is up here. I just saw Kanto Bird and didn't change it. Just quick edits. So it's Zapdos who's at top with 22 KOs. Still, everything I said about the Otto and his Moltres still rings true. And the Merseyside Marowaks are doing really well with this Zapdos. Huge threat.
Yeah.
He's been one of his best, if not his best mon each week. Since he's taken over the team. And it pairs really well with the rain mode he's got going on. With the Klefki, Rain Dance. Maybe he wants to bring one of his Swift Swim mons. But he got a huge 8-0 victory versus the Midland Marowaks.
Yep.
I think the Midland Marowaks had a bad matchup versus the Merseyside. However, they got a little bit unlucky with the crit to one of their mons at the start, like the Togedemaru, who was going for eerie impulses to try and mitigate the damage. But the Marowaks, I keep saying Marowaks, they're both Marowaks, but AJ had too much momentum, I would say, because even though AJ says he got a little bit spooked by the Midlands rain mode they had in the back, which was the Thunderous and Dreadnought.
Yeah.
It still didn't seem to be enough to put a dent in that team. Klefki very likely to have been running Sunny Day this week. So was able to just change.
Rain Dance? Is it a Prankster Rain Dance user as well?
Who? Sorry.
Klefki, is it also a
Prankster? It gets Prankster Rain, Prankster Sun, and I would imagine the Klefki was running Prankster Sunny Day, and that allowed the Marowaks, the Merseyside Marowaks, to change. This is so annoying. It allowed the Merseyside Marowaks to change the weather from the Rain Dance Thunderous.
Yep.
Okay, I'm just going to leave it there, guys, because that matchup is super annoying to go over. Marowaks, and oh my god, one of them even brought a Marowak. So, GG's AJ, nice win, 2-0, 8-0. Real unfortunate for you, Unicorn. I really hope that you can pull yourself out of this little funk at the moment and finish the season strong. So we move on to what was possibly. Oh wait, was that a 2-0 win? Oh, it was. To what was?
It's 2-0. That's what I saw in the report.
We move on to what was possibly the biggest RNG fest of this season so far.
Yeah.
There is no video. There's only the tales of the critical hitting Lapras and the 100% accurate Fisher.
Sure, no guard Hippo.
the Hippopotas with those Fishers. We won't spend much time on this one. Just to highlight, Fisher from Hippopotas hitting every Fisher in that one game. I think it was game 2. Hit both Fishers, and the Eiscues were just like, yep, nope, that's it. Can't do anything. Because not only that, but we had a stored power Mishana with defense curl, yawn, and getting boosts from Max Quakes, and Dave just made his team unkillable. And yet, even though his team was super bulky, super defensive, and with all these stat raises, he was the one who kept getting the crits against the opponent.
Yeah.
Not the other way around. Poor Bill. I feel bad.
Usually, if your special defense and your defense is being bulked up, you don't care about getting crits because your mons aren't going down anyway. So English Eiscue would need to do crits because it would bypass the defense raises and all that kind of stuff and give it a 1.5 boost. But
it's not.
And your defense is getting boosted and you're getting the crits. You're just the RNG gods are on your side.
Yeah, it's not just the. It really rubs salt in the wound when the opponent's bulking up on you, and yet still critting you back to back to back. So, better luck next time, Bill.
It wasn't even like guaranteed crit on the drill run. There was a possibility that it wouldn't crit.
Yeah,
right.
It's a one crit stage, so it's like 25% chance. But like hitting 3 in a row, that's high. That's low odds. It's like less than 1. It's a very low chance.
Then hitting like a 30% accurate Fisher twice. They're all the same level. So everything's level 50, so it's like 30% accurate or something like that, and you hit it twice.
To have hit all of those back to back, it's less than 1% chance. It's literally a 0.1% chance to hit 2 Fishers back to back and 3 crits, drill runs back to back, if you just account those 5 moves in that order.
Yeah.
Just those combinations. And that's with drill, that's real low odds, and I've never seen anything quite like it, to be honest. But that's enough of that. GG's to Dave, getting your 3rd win of the season. Got more wins this season than you've ever done in UGA history.
Yep.
Congrats, Dave.
Congrats. Got 2 in season 1, 2 in season 2, and now he's already at 3. So
yeah,
he
but season 1 and 2. Season 1 and 2.
Double it up next week.
Season 1 and 2, 2 of those wins were forfeit wins. He actually only got 1 earned win in both season 1 and 2 each. So he's already got 3 earned wins this season, so that's doing really well. Unfortunate, Bill. Hopefully you keep at the VGC draft and it hasn't disheartened you too much, and we have some better luck in weeks 6, 7 and 8 as you make your final push to playoffs. But though, that wraps it up, guys. Week 5 results, that's every match spoken about to some degree. We shall move on to our rankings. We won't spend ages on this. We've got the Trenton Typhlosions down at 16th. Sorry, Typhlosions, you do still need that win to be able to move up from that bottom position. Someone's got to fill it at the moment. I'm sure you could get a couple of wins out of you before the season ends, and I will be cheering you on. The Drowsy Drac results still not recovering from that first week win. They haven't managed to get a win since that first week. We are down at 15th for the Drowsy Drac results in this second half. 14th is Midland Marowaks. They have taken 2 wins but had 3 unfortunate losses, 2 of which back to back, I think, up to this point. So I'm sure the Marowaks are going to get out of their funk soon and bounce back strong, but that 8-0 beating they took from Jedi was pretty hard. Then the Dark Lord Greninjas moving back up to 13th, the highest they've been in a couple of weeks. Finally getting their 2nd win of the season, taking them first 3 weeks with losses, finally bouncing back and getting a win over the draft results and the Midland Marowaks, and moving on to 13th. We have the Eiscues drop down to 12th with another loss, unfortunate against the Coalossals, but it is what it is. The 11th place is the Somerville Scraggies, just above the Eiscues. They've also taken a loss this week against
Far Rockaway T-Tars.
Thank you, against Lucian. So I'm pretty sure with the Tyler's team, if he starts running it a little bit more generically, I mean, it might not be as fun to do for the Scraggies, but like, he has got a strong team there, really strong core, Celesteela core. I'm sure he'll be able to take wins in this final half, and I can see him taking the 6th, 7th or 8th spot in the playoffs. We've got Milwaukee Xerneas down in 10th after their loss this week, overtaken by yourself, Charlotte Beedrills, at number 9. Thanks to that win this week, sees you back up into the top 10 of the table. Really good win. Hopefully that you carry that momentum on as you keep going in the second half of the season.
Yes.
We have got the Shivering Snow Runts. Since taking over, they have yet to lose a match. At 8th spot, Hopefully we see a lot more of that winning energy from Sam as he tries to push himself for a spot in playoffs as a replacement coach. 7th, we see MK Mimikyu basically staying roughly where they were last week after their loss against the Pacific Slowbros. Tough opponents, but a good team they have there, and they know what they're doing with their team each week. I really enjoy seeing what they do with their team, to be honest. They do have that rain mode, but they seem to be creative enough while still being effective with what mons they have. Hopefully they can get some more wins to get themselves a high place finish. Crymych Coalossals, as just mentioned previously. Dave, what are you doing up here in the top 6, man? Super strong. I mean, considering you finished bottom of the pack last season, top 6, it's really good. I mean, playoffs are not out of the question at all. I mean, you're 3-2.
I mean, to be fair, he was a finalist in the Little Cup Speed Tour, so
True.
He's got some skills in it. He's got some skills. He can't be overlooked.
Get your videos out, Dave. We need to see them. We need to see this energy from you.
Agreed.
We see Tyranitar's, the Far Rockway kind, in 5th with Lucian Flash. I think this is a decent team. It's really hard to nail what's good about this team and what isn't. But I think it's the fact that Lucian is who is piloting it, that it just does well. But it's very inconsistent. So it'll do really well one week and not so good the next. But all his games recently have been really close. Close loss last week, close win this week. All about that RNG for Lucian, but that's not to take away from the fact that he's playing really well and coaching his mons to be basically huge damage dealers. I mean, indeed, big damage. We have at number 4, fallen from our top spots. We have Crizzle and the South Croydon Soars taking the 4th spot this week with his one of very rarely 2-0 losses. He is replaced by the Porygons up in number 3. The Porygons beating the South Croydon Soars this week allow them to just push past them in our rankings. The Porygons are doing really well. They said they were going to do that to practice Sportech, and they weren't kidding. They've ran it twice up to this point now. But having that Cinderace in the back, or that Primarina in the back, 2 very big Dynamax candidates, both offensive, one special, one physical, one fast, one slow. Primarina is such a good mon as well, and obviously Cinderace is a Cinderace, so big damage from that. We see number 2 finally made his way up here. Merseyside Marowak taking his 4th win since taking over the team. He hasn't lost a single match. That Zapdos going in strong against the competition. But that's not to take away from some of his other modes, his Beat Up, his Rain Dance, his Sunny Day. He's just got modes upon modes upon modes. You never know what he's going to bring, and he's making the most out of this season. I think the Merseyside Marowaks are probably going to take one of the top 4 positions before the end of the season. But we have up at the top the Pacific Slowbros, coached by Otto himself. Otto is literally the draft king. He is such a good player when he's in the zone. Only time I've ever seen him play badly, to be honest, is when he's been burnt out from playing in the draft league he's playing in. The more engaged the community is in the draft, the better this guy plays.
Okay, so that's our cue to stop engaging with the podcast and the lobby and all that stuff.
Our only 5-0 player left in the left in Johto. He is undefeated. He is moving on into these final few weeks. With one more win will guarantee his place in the playoffs. Will he take a loss before the end of the season? That is the question.
Week 8, he'll just meme. He'll just make a really big meme team, and he'll just lose week 8 just because he memed. He just want to meme for fun.
Honestly, he's done that before. He's done that in VDL. He hates going into playoffs undefeated. He feels like he needs to take a loss before the playoffs. So he's got both Lucian up next. He's got who's he got? He's got Lucian week 7. He's got AJ week 8, which I think will be a heat matchup. 2 undefeated players going head to head. And who does he have this week? I know he's already played.
Already been played. It's already been played. He played Midland.
The other Marowaks, yes, the Midland Marowaks. I understand that game's already been played, but we will talk about that game as of next week. But that concludes our rankings, guys. Hopefully you are all happy with this, and if not, sorry, our opinions. What can I do?
Please send an angry letter to Matrix at your earliest convenience.
Promise I will read it. So yeah, that's the rankings. We are here with the Pichu's Pick'ems, just briefly. It is Zam leading the pack, finally breaking away from everyone, getting some good predictions right this week. I think he got like 7 out of the 8 predictions right from this last week, which is crazy because some of these matches were huge upsets. So good job there, Zam. Just behind you, you've got Crizzle and Lucian in 2nd and 3rd, well, joint 2nd, and then you've got the top 10 over there on the right-hand side, with 63% and 58% respectively. Unfortunately, I have fell hugely from grace. When I started leading us, and then as the weeks go past, I just keep getting thrown curveballs from these matches. It's like, oh, I think this team will win. Nope. Massively wrong. I need to start taking more interest in these matches, proper look at these matchups and see who I think will win. Can't have this on my own show.
Can't lose your own show, Matrix.
But no, doing really well. Keep at it, guys. And that brings us to the end. It's all over. Week 5 is done. We're moving on to week 6. That's it from me, guys. I will catch you all next time. Thank you, Zam. Thank you. Well, I'm going to call you Zam. You keep calling me Masenko. Thank you, Bryan. Thank you, Masenko.
Thank you.
Glad to have you on here as always.
Always good to have the 3 amigos.
Indeed.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll catch you all next time as we head into week 6.
So,
See you guys. Thanks for watching.